as a leader of majority, I can tell you there has never been any impeachment motion against the deputy president. That has been his creation, and those that he walks around with is a sympathy-seeking gimmick to try and incite people from the Mount Kenya region, and more so against members of parliament. If you keenly listened to him yesterday, he passed a veiled threat to the people of Kenya when he said that even an impeachment motion would cause political instability. Or rather, he framed it that it's about the stability of the nation, political stability of the nation. What he actually meant is that he is trying to threaten, should there be one, that there will be political instability. The kind of political instability, as I said yesterday on Twitter, that they instigated on the 25th of June, 2024. That is a threat, the veiled threat he intended to pass on to the people of Kenya, that he will cause political instability should there be an impeachment motion. But for the record, there has never been. I am yet to see one. I was last in Parliament on Tuesday, the whole day. There was no impeachment motion. No member of Parliament has ever proposed, even to collect signatures. So it's only the Deputy President who has been speaking about his own impeachment. Probably he's calling for it. I do not know. He might be calling for it. Or he might be imagining that if it comes, he can incite one region of our country against Parliament and against members of Parliament, because that is a fear he has been trying to sell. That is why I said I have put my chest forward to defend the rights of all members of Parliament as their leader. Because nobody, not the President, not the Deputy President, should ever imagine that they can intimidate members of Parliament from doing what they ought to do. Impeachment motions are part of our oversight of state officers. The Deputy President is not an exception. So is the President. If any member of Parliament feels the President is not serving the people of Kenya or has contravened any provision of our Constitution, he is at liberty to bring an impeachment motion, and it will be considered on its own merit. In the same purview, if any member of Parliament feels the Deputy President has not performed as he ought to have performed as a national leader, or has breached any provision of the Constitution, it is up to members of Parliament, any member of Parliament who is at liberty to bring an impeachment motion. Is a constitutional provision that is in a constitution that you can impeach anybody from the President to cabinet secretaries and other public officers. Therefore, the Deputy President should desist from making all this Ulabalu is making about impeachment, non-existent impeachment motions, because those only exist in the figment of his imagination. When President Kenyatta and William Ruto fell out, it was basically because President Uhuru Kenyatta was in his last term, had his preferred candidate for the 2022 elections, and his deputy was a presidential candidate. We are now in the first term of this administration. DP Gachagua has not told us whether he's a candidate in 2027, although all intents and all indications indicate that he wants to run for president. Here he has been mentioning that he wants to form friendship with the likes of Kalonzo, Wajakoya, and such like characters. And therefore, he's at liberty to do that. But their focus that we have asked him to focus on is on delivery on our manifesto. And that's why, as members of Parliament, we said we do not want to be driven away from the focus that we had on implementation of our manifesto. We chose to have the Minister in charge of National Government Coordination to help us coordinate development projects so that we realize the dreams and aspirations of the people who elected us, and not be driven astray by those who are only after their selfish and very parochial interests of the 2027 elections. If they want to run for president, is a seat that is free for anybody to run, including you and me. and they can form friendships with Wajakoya and the others. They can peddle whatever I want to peddle with them and sell to the people of Kenya, and the people of Kenya will listen to them. What I would have expected the Deputy President to be doing now, even in an address, and I did challenge him last week, for 2 years he has never addressed any national media station to either articulate what government is doing or even advance government policy on anything, be it housing, be it universal health coverage, be it the stall projects you talk about, be it even business and the pending bills I had him mentioned by passing. We have never seen him. How I wish he would spend his time to focus on those people-centric issues and not selfish parochial things as he has engaged us in. If any member of parliament brings an impeachment motion against anybody in government, we consider them on merit, based on the grounds, and if they merit, then the House debates, and those who choose to support. Remember, we just went through an impeachment motion against former Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. And you remember when I spoke in the House that day, I said it did not meet the constitutional threshold, and therefore you could not create a nexus between the issues that Mheshimiwa Amboka had raised against Linturi, and I opposed. Therefore, I would wait to see if anybody brings any impeachment motion against the president, against the deputy president, or any cabinet secretary on merit. We will consider it. But let the deputy president not imagine that he can use violence as a tool to intimidate members of parliament. I said on Twitter yesterday that we are seeing the regrouping of the executors and financiers of the June 25th chaos. The infiltration of the peaceful demonstrations by criminal elements were organized groups, well financed, well planned. Those are the groups that are now regrouping.